What's up, y'all? This King Rain. I'm coming with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and in reference to them keeping the system together that they have built in Philadelphia. I want to also put out this disclaimer that, this is not a hate page. This page was created directly to inspire, enlighten, and give more knowledge to my so-called black brothers and sisters. This is not a hate page. This is not a race war page. I'm gonna, I'm making this page in reference to, like I said, enlightenment and just, making my so-called black brothers and sisters better, but I'm also going to be discussing other topics because I look at sports and, I feel like you can correlate sports with different topics, and like I said, I'm not making this no hate page where, it's going to be this person against that person or anything like that, This is a page to enlighten. But like I said, this particular video is going to be about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and them keeping the system together in Philadelphia. They're going to speak on the topic, and I'm going to chime in.
Coming off a tough loss to the Clippers on Saturday. Remember, he missed those foul shots. He's back at it last night, taking on the Sixers, already without Ben Simmons, who's going to have surgery on his knee. And now watch what happens here. Keep an eye on Joel Embiid. Following the play, watch him stepping into the stanchion. And we're going to give you a closer look. Watch the ankle closely. Oh, he would go to the locker room and leave. He would not return. 6 minutes, 2 points, and now a big question mark for Joel Embiid. Take you, meanwhile, to the end of this.
And I don't know why they say it's a big question mark for Joel Embiid, just on the simple fact that he's always been injury prone ever since he's been drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. And, I'm not taking away from, his talents as a player, because, he's a great player. Like, he's definitely top 5 to 10 big men in the league, But if you ever watch when he's playing, and when I'm watching him as he's playing, he moves very cumbersome, if that makes sense. He doesn't move with that speed, and I know it's a lot to move around a big frame, but, I feel like he definitely should work on his conditioning more.
Game under 3 to go. Blazers are down 1. Watch Damian Lillard. Watch. Gets the contact. Yes, plus the foul. That's a 4-point play as he knocks down the free throw. And then there's more. Finding this a sliver of space is Dame for another 3. He was 16 of 28 from the floor, knocked down 4 threes. Sixers, last chance. 10 seconds left. Inbounding, down by 3. Josh Richardson is down. Josh Richardson is up. He's going to get up a shot here. Down 3. Tick, 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 tick. This is for the tie. No good. Offensive rebound. No, they can't secure it. Portland hangs on and wins 124-121. Damian Lillard scores 51, atoning for the missed free throws of the other night. But in the big picture.
And not to go off subject, Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers are definitely a team to watch for, especially going into the playoffs. And I'm not saying that just because, this particular game, him having 51 points, but, he's had a great season thus far, even with the coronavirus coming about and causing the schedule to be, somewhat in a, uproar. But like I said, he's kept his composure as far as playing through the games and, keeping the right mindset as far as, he feels that they can go to the, the championship and that they can win it. And, like I said, he's been doing very well. And also C.J. McCollum, because he's also dealing with the back injury. But like I said, the Trailblazers, they are definitely a team to watch for.
That is probably not the big story from this game. You see Joel Embiid getting hurt after Simmons has to leave the bubble and will undergo surgery. Big Perk is with us, and Jackie Mack is here this morning as well. And Jackie, as we look at this, and you see the continued injury concerns with Embiid, and now Simmons being injured, the first thought that went through my mind was, is it time to give up on the process? Is it time to pull the plug on this thing we've been calling the process in Philly for a very long time?
And not to intervene before Jackie McMullen gives her take, I don't feel like they should give up on the process so quickly just because of, the things that are going on in reference to Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Not only with the chemistry, because Ben Simmons also, I know he's injured right now also. So I know that, with the injuries that they both been sustaining and that they have sustained, it's probably a cause to pause. But I feel like it's not the time to disconnect the process completely. I feel like you should always give things time to develop and grow. And I feel like with Ben Simmons, he's you know he's I feel like also, and I'm sorry, I'm not to be stammering, but I also feel like with Brett Brown being their coach is not the excuse me. He doesn't give the right aura and energy to be able to provide that leadership that they both could benefit from and also help them develop as players. You know, I know they rave so much about Ben Simmons not having a 3-point shot, but is been players of older times that didn't have a jump shot and still were able to succeed. But what you do is surround that player that doesn't have that talent or that effectiveness at shooting. You surround shooters around them, and I think that's one thing that they've definitely failed to do in reference to Ben Simmons.
Well, Greeny, if it were up to me, I would not be pulling that plug. I think you're talking about two young players who I would argue have yet to reach their prime, who I think are both going to end up being Hall of Famers. That was a fluke injury for Joel. He's actually stayed relatively healthy this year. I understand why people are frustrated in Philadelphia, but these two players proved they could play together last year. The lack of perimeter shooting this year, Greeny, surrounding them has only exacerbated the problems that they run into when teams start jamming them into a half court. I would not break up Embiid and Simmons, not on my watch.
Okay, fair enough. I like that. How about...
And like I said, I wholeheartedly agree. I would not break up that core just so soon, just because of the troubles that they're having at the moment. I feel like especially those particular players, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, like she said, they haven't even reached their prime yet. So still give them some time to be able to develop and become the players that they're truly meant to be. But I've also feel like one thing that have stunted their growth, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, is that they've constantly tried to get them to play out of their play style. And I understand, trying to, put new aspects into players' games so they can better be balanced on the floor. But you can't push something too much that's not in their wheelhouse and still expect them to play as normal players. But like I said, I feel like they've pushed that, that differential, perspective of, what Ben Simmons, if you shot the 3 ball more, we could win more games and, do this and do this. And if Joel Embiid, if you also shot the ball more, instead of, playing to their strengths and, not necessarily covering their weaknesses, but developing them to be able to diffuse those weaknesses, if that makes sense, But I'm not going to ramble on too long. I'm going to let Kendrick Perkins give his perspective also.
Would you, Big Perk, yes or no? Would you break up Embiid and Simmons if it was your decision in Philly?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not breaking up Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Both of these guys are generational talents. And both of these guys are young studs. And like Jackie said, they haven't even reached their prime. Now, I'm going to tell you what I will have if I'm the 76ers, I would divorce Brett Brown. It's time to get a new young blood up in there. Ty Lue is the guy for the job. It's time for a new coaching change. That's the only change that I would make additional to role players on the roster. But if I'm Elton Brand in the front office of the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm keeping these two young studs together, and I'm going to find a way to make it work.
I would just very quickly, Ali, if I could follow up on that. Jackie, just a quick follow-up on that, if I could. The two of them, I watched them play, and yes, they're both brilliant players. I think Embiid, when he's right, is the best big man in the entire sport, and that excluding no one. But sometimes they look to me like a square peg in a round hole, or whatever. Two things don't fit together well like that, and particularly in postseason time. Jackie, is that not a concern for you, that the two of them, to me at least, do not appear to be to mix in the way that we have sometimes seen the great duos?
Well, not to interrupt Jackie McMullen, I felt that they've fit in together pretty well, But like I've said previously, you keep trying to get them to adjust to doing different things that their game is not adjusted to doing, and then you still expect them to go out there and play as their normal selves, you know. And you know, also on a side note, the media causes confusion in the locker rooms. I'm sure we already know that, and it definitely has had a profound effect on Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in reference to their chemistry and how they play on the court. And Kendrick Perkins, he made a point that I also made in reference to Brett Brown. You know, I feel like you need to bring someone else in who can invigorate them, you know, and have them be happy about learning new aspects of the game that they're not very good in or that they don't do at all, you know. But aura and energy plays a grand part in, you know, chemistry, just in my personal perspective. You know, you can't have, you know, people with two different types of energies come together and think that it's going to be, you know, a good story, or, you know, it's just going to be, everything's going to be fine. Like, he doesn't, just from my perspective, Brett Brown doesn't demonstrate that leadership that they need in order to ascend to the next level.
The reason you see that is because Ben Simmons, I don't know what position to call him. He's a positionless player, which is where the NBA is going. But when he was at the point guard spot, what teams do is they sag off him because they're going to dare him to shoot that three, which we all know he's been reluctant to do. When people were criticizing Joel Embiid early in the season for shooting those threes, the reason he was doing it was to open up the inside for his teammate Ben Simmons. It can work, but I stress again, when you lose J.J. Redick, when Jimmy Butler hits the road, your spacing suffers, and I think that's got as much to do with why they look the way you're describing as anything. I believe fervently that these guys can coexist together. I really do. I think with the proper spacing, it'll work.
Okay, so it's not time. Our crew says it's not time to abandon the process.
And as I said earlier in the video, you surround them with shooters, they'll really get into a great groove, and also you will see the morale of the team also change. But, you know, trying to force them to do things that they're not used to, and, you know, also just putting blame on Ben Simmons, oh, he's not shooting the three ball, you know. Like I said, you can't, you know, try to get someone to do something they're not used to, but then expect them to still conduct themselves normally, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to give my perspective on, you know, the supposed conundrum of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid playing together. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be dropping some more videos soon. I want to thank everyone who views my videos, who likes, you know, has, you know, great comments to say, you know, like I enjoy all of it. But I will be giving some more videos soon. Thank you. God bless.